Hey guys, this is Infinite Flash here. Today I'm going to be talking about what happened in Game 9 of the World Championship match between Viswanathan Anand and Magnus Carlsen, and in this game we have Carlsen playing white and Anand is playing black. Yesterday was a rest day, and well, I think Anand got basically nothing in the previous game as white, and this game his job is to play black, and at first I thought Carlsen would be looking to press for something as white, but it turns out we get a Berlin, not the most fun looking variation. Castles 1964, and you know what variation is coming, the endgame variation line with this famous endgame introduced by, I'm getting tired of introducing it by the way. We all know it's been introduced by Kramnik in this position back in the 2000s, and King E8 was played by Anand. I think this is what happened in Carlsen's previous game with him in the match a couple of games ago when Anand had to defend amazingly just to survive. And I think H5 is the same move that was played a game ago, and we saw Carlsen in this game instead of playing a Rook D1 followed by Bishop F4 plan. In this game, choose a totally different plan with Knight E2. And now Anand developed the bishop to b6. Certainly this isn't the only move. I mean, bishop e7 looks reasonable, bishop e6 is somewhat reasonable too. Although I'd be a little bit nervous to give up the light squared bishop here after, knight f4. That might be a problem. C5 at some point is also interesting. So, oh no! Sorry about that technical error, guys. I accidentally had to be logged out. Ouch. Well, anyways, knight e2 by Carlsen, b6 to get the bishop out to this diagonal right here. This diagonal is very sensitive to those light squares, and rook d1 was played by Carlsen to move the knight possibly after a move like bishop a6. Bishop a6 was played by Anand, and after knight f4, we saw a retreat of the bishop by Anand to open it up possibly, and it's pretty interesting, this position. I actually find this position to be pretty interesting. And in this position, Anand Carlsen could play a move like c3, controlling the d4 square a little bit more, but I don't know. It's just not leading to that much, I guess. One idea is that after rook d8, you can probably get a line like that with an early e6 pawn push, and play with f6 is pretty much leading to Berlin-like play with this kind of position, with ideas of e7 at some point, but black seems to control that square pretty easily. So it's with a move like c5, you can pretty much develop your pieces, and I don't know, maybe bishop d6 comes at some point, and black's doing really fine in this position. Even though it looks bad at first, you'd be surprised. I can give you my word that black is doing quite fine here. So going back, and I don't know, I mean that e6 played by Carlsen is certainly an interesting move, but maybe a move like c3 is pretty much extending the game, I would say. What happened in the game is that white played e6 immediately, and then Anand found a really nice move in bishop d6 to attack this knight, and white doesn't really have any better than just to capture the pawn. Not better, but like he just captured the pawn actually, and one alternative to that move was like knight g5, trying to get some pressure on these pawns, but it turns out that black could just take, and after the captures and king there, it is very difficult to meet this rook move right here and the pawn pushed here to prevent black to activate his pieces. This is not ideal for white, I would say. Bishop d6. Yeah, here, I mean, if you try to avoid the captures here, I think if you play a move like c3, I don't know, I mean, this doesn't really turn out too well for you. Let's say this one. Black would probably play c5, and even if you captures here to try to avoid it, you get this isn't really better than the game continuation. This kind of stuff. Black doesn't even bother taking. This can be captured at any moment. 96, and this kind of stuff is very fine for black, I think. More than fine, actually. Oh, anyways, you get the idea. The c6 and the rook is really, really uncomfortable. Black is, I think black's doing quite alright. Probably I'd even prefer black in that position because it is more active pieces in this one. But anyways, that's one of the ideas. I mean, I don't really know what to say. In the game, we saw e takes f, and after the captures, check, king f6. The problem is that white doesn't really have a better move than to give this check. You can't really play h4, I guess, because one idea is that black just can capture here and win a pawn. Another idea is that black can also, if I'm not mistaken, play c5, if I recall correctly. Is that right? c5 is also another interesting move to maintain a good position, and surely a move like rook e8 is not that bad as well. Takes, and we saw Carlsen playing knight g5 check, and after king f6, the white knight doesn't really have another good square. By the way, he can't play like knight f3 because of g5, and g4 comes, and this is extremely uncomfortable for black, I think. Knight d3 is met by g4, and there's not really another move you can do in this kind of position. Opening up the h file for all of black's pieces is not really, it's a suicidal idea. So knight e4 was played from knight g5, and after king f7 check, Anand doesn't really have any better than to play to this square. I mean, all of the other squares look a bit ridiculous given that e file is open, and the g6 square is taken, and there's not really anything better than king f6. And I think let's see, if you captures here, I think you're improving black's pawn structure here, I think. Let's see. I wonder what would happen here. Yeah, I think here after the captures and c takes d, g4 is not actually winning a pawn here. This is just a small note, but black just captures and play c5, threatening checkmate here, and that's really, really annoying for white to face. I think after that, white is in pretty much a lot of trouble. So after we saw in the game pretty much a repetition of moves with this perpetual check, and I think they agreed to a draw right here in this position on move 20. Not an exciting game, but a reasonable draw in my opinion. Maybe I think Carlsen just knew this was a forced draw line and just didn't. He wanted another rest day, I guess, to play, and he's up a game, and I can't blame him that he wanted another rest game to prepare for tomorrow. I noticed that they only spent like 5 minutes each on the clock for most of the game, or something, 10 minutes each, I forget, but less than 30 minutes total I think was spent on this game, and pretty much a fair draw, I think. I'll cover the game tomorrow, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you very much for watching this and helping out the channel. I'll continue games tomorrow. See you around.